Deathscyp here from YCG, your casual gamer. So today we'll be attacking the Matinee sequence. I'll just be making a simple Matinee sequence, nothing too complicated. And with those two trigger volume, we're gonna create this lift. I'm gonna show you what it does in a second, and here it is. So now that we have our line trace, we can go through the doors. And now over here, there's the trigger volume that's gonna use this as a lift, and then once you're up, you can get on the other side and go down, which creates a perfect loop for your scene. And when you come back, the other one's down. So that's it. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's add the static mesh to begin with. That is going to be our lift. I prefer to work in a unlit mode. There's less lag, you don't have all the light that always calculates and everything. It's easier to see. So let's drag a cube out, try to put it in the middle. I think my dimensions were 4 by 3.5. Seems about right. And just, we're gonna add it, a material to it, so drag the material you want to the mesh and just go level it with your floor. There we go. That's not bad. Yeah, oops, maybe this. Right, it's not perfect, but it's gonna do the job. Hold Alt while you're on one of the axes and just drag out. Hold Shift if you want to move with the object. And now you can set it up on the other side. Let's call this one right lift. And I'm guessing this is the second one. Let's call it left lift. Enter. Whoops. That's it. Save. Save all. Now we're gonna create the Matinee sequence. So let's go inside cinematic, add Matinee legacy or add Matinee sequence. Now it's gonna bring up the Matinee sequencer. And I'm not going to tell you everything there is to do about this. Basically, you use the Matinee legacy to create an animation. Any kind of an animation. It could be something really crazy like a spaceship that's leaving a hangar, or something as simple as a lift. So, if you want to know more about it, I'm going to leave you a link to Virtuous Education. They're going to tell you a bit more about it. But what I'm going to be building is just a lift that goes up and down. So we're going to use the track over here. So right click on the track, and wait, before you do that, make sure you, sorry, not a lot of space in the screen. Make sure we're on the right side. Where are we? Yeah. On the left side, you're going to click on your actor. You're going to right click in the track zone and add new group. See what it did over here right away? It changed the mobility to movable. We're going to call it the left lift. What does that mean? It means that the static mesh was on static, but now we have to put it on movable, this here, on movable, if we want the animation to happen, or else nothing's going to happen once the sequence is made. Alright? So now that we created an empty group, we need to add a movement track, since we're going to be moving the track. Now you see everything we have over here. You could make a sound track, a toggle track, a visibility track, but we're going to use the movement track. Okay, and now this is your sequence. If you're familiar with any programs that make video, you're going to be pretty much familiarized with this. You have the end sequence and up to where your sequence goes. So if you hold shift, or actually you just click on it and you drag it, you can choose how long it's going to be. For this one, I want to make it to 2. Make sure that you select the end as well and you bring it back to how much you want it to be, because if you leave it at 5, maybe your sequence finishes at 2, but it's going to keep going till it reaches the end of the video before, let's say, you wanted to reset. So let's say you wanted a lift to go up, and when it's done being up, it reverses you down, and it will just loop that motion. If you put it to 5 seconds, then it's going to go up, then it's going to wait till 5, then it's going to come back. So you're going to have 6 seconds of wait time before it goes down. Maybe that's what you want, but if that's not what you want, you better adjust this correctly. Now we're going to add a keyframe. You have the keyframe over here, that's your starting point. And to add another one, just select on the track where you want to be. Let's go to 2, and you can add a keyframe or just press enter. That's going to add one. Now if you go in your scene, you're going to see at the bottom left that it says adjust key movement. So now you can adjust where you want the lift to go. So holding the Z axis, we're going to go higher all the way to the top, and there we go. Now if I press stop and play, the animation works, and there you go, you just created your first Matinee sequence. Let's close that up, save all. Now we need something to trigger that, so let's get a trigger volume out, volume, and let's leave it over here. I like to put it at the end of the room, because if you leave it at the, well, just for the purpose of this tutorial, of course, because if I leave it at the beginning, someone could just trigger it and walk out, and then you screw up the program. So whenever you make a program, if you wanted this to be something that the player could do, make sure you find a way to bring back the lift without crushing the character or without the character to fall to your floor. But for me, just to make it so that it's impossible for you to just run out after, you just put it fairly far. That way the player to trigger it is already pretty far in the room. There's no turning back. You have to follow the event. So we're going to call this trigger lift. Again, save all, good. Now we're going to go into level blueprint, open this up, and like we did in our other video, having the trigger volume selected, we're going to right click, add a collision begin actor overlap, and now we're going to need to find our Matinee actor. To find it very easy, you could go on your level and find, see it's here. You could go and look for it, but if your level is huge and you have a lot of details and you don't want to get lost, just go on the top right and just click Matinee, and right away you have your Matinee actor. Even if you rename it, maybe I would call it left lift. Whoops. Actually, we're just gonna call it lifts. I forgot something actually. We're gonna do that after. And enter. When you write Matinee, it's still gonna find the Matinee actor. It's not gonna look only for a lift, so just write Matinee actor and you're always gonna find it really quick. Now that we have it selected, we're gonna go back in our level blueprint, right click, create a reference to the lift, that's the name of the Matinee, drag out and just click play, and that's it. Connect the two together and you're done. Save, compile, and play. Now if you understand everything that I just did over here, from there the rest of the video is just a little show for tell, but here you'd be pretty much done with it. Okay, the only thing that would be missing now is if I go on the other side, there's no way to go down, and then I need to, if I go from the other side over here, the lift is up there, it's not coming down. So how do we fix this? That's the next part of my video. So when the trigger volume plays the scene over here, we want the other lift to go up as well. That way it's waiting for you to go here to bring it back down. So how do you do that? We're going to copy what we just did over here to the other one, and we can use the same Matinee sequence. So let's go back into our Matinee sequence, and we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So we're going to grab the other actor, right click, add a new empty group, call it right lift, right click and make a moving track. It's pretty much just copy paste there. So select on the track where you want to be, add a keyframe. Now make sure you can adjust key. Adjust key is there. Grab the Z axis and bring it up. That's good. Alright. And now, this is where it gets cool. Save, compile, whoops, yes. So now both lifts are going to come up. If I go in my Matinee sequence, I press play, you're going to see both lift comes up. They're both there. Okay, now that we brought them up, that's pretty cool, but now we're going to be stuck up there. So how do we bring them back down? Well, that's pretty simple. We're just going to make another trigger volume. Just drag it out. Well, it's already there. Call it lift comes back. Enter. Now for the same purpose that you don't want the player to be able to run out and whatnot, you can just put it in the corner or wherever you want. Really doesn't really matter. As long as he can't run back in the room, we're fine. Now you're going to go back in your level blueprint, make sure you have the trigger volume checked, and we're going to make this time another begin overlap for the other one. And what are we going to do with the sequence? Very simple. We're going to grab this over here and just write reverse. And that's simple. Compile, save all, and now let's jump in the game, see if that works. So first off, we go up the lift. Then now that we're on the other side, now I want to go back down. It goes back down, and that's it. And now the loop should be working perfectly, and there it is. And now I can always go up and go down. That simple. Hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make a little something else that's fun to do with trigger volume. I'm going to add a simple button. So for that, you're going to need to create those two materials that I did. I'm going to delete them and create them with you. So just right click, new material, call it red, enter, double click in there. Now I know it's just that's just a little something for fun as you follow and it works. You're gonna right click, write vector color, vector constant vector. Is that it? 3. That's what it is. And now we're gonna choose red and click OK, and just drag it inside the base color, and there you go. You have a red color. Save and compile X. Now we're gonna grab this, we're gonna duplicate it, call it green, and jump into green and just change the color over here to green. Very simple. That's how easy it gets when you want to make. I don't know a lot about materials, but simple stuff like this. It's nice to know. That way you can easily recreate a perfect lift. Just knowing this. Whoops, sorry. Just knowing these little tricks, you could just recreate everything. So now we have the two colors. We're just going to grab another base shape cube. Where are they? They're a cube. Just drag it inside the scene. Dim it down. Let's call that a button. Automatic button. Enter. And let's give it a color red. So same thing. Having this button in check, you're going to go inside level blueprint. We're going to right click, create a reference, and I think it's create dynamic material instance with static mesh. So just like that, we're going to change, as soon as you hit this, we're going to change the color to green because the lift is activated. We're going to add a short delay. I think 4 seconds should be good. And then grab this again, Control C, Control V to copy and paste, and just get it back to, whoops, red. Alright. And we're going to grab this and reroute. Why isn't it working? Here. There we go. There we go. Compile, save, close everything. And now if my program works, you will be able to play, go inside, open both doors. Make sure that when you put your doors in, that the lift doesn't go through the doors. At first, they were going through the... There we go. Works. Like the first time I run my program, when I opened this door, it was opening in the lift. So that didn't look too good. So I just took the door and rotated 180 and then it works. So hope you enjoyed this. Tune in for the next episode. We're gonna go and program the door that's going to be locked from one side but open from the other one. So that way you could unlock this door once you go all the way around the stage. So have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.